Alright y'all, we are back, and we are back inside today. We're going to be finishing removing the flooring and working on getting the subfloor out. We're going to do a little bit of investigation on the insulation here first, see what's underneath, and see if spray foaming all in there would be an option rather than using this foam board, because it's sagging, it's not level, it's not very strong, and I want to make sure that what I'm standing on, sleeping on, sitting on, storing all of my things on, driving on really is structurally sound, strong, gonna hold all the weight that comes in here. And we'll see about getting spray foam in the hallway, all the exposed areas. It's not really going to be possible to do like underneath the cabinets or in the bed area or in the shower area or anything like that, but for this area where there's the most foot traffic and whatever, we'll be able to see if that's a possibility, see how much space is down there, see what's underneath the foam in general, if it's just a piece of metal right there, or if there's some spacing or what that may be. So we're gonna get into that, get our hands dirty again today, and you know, get this show on the road. Let's go, let's do it, man. Okay, so we got some of the floorboards out. They're just the peel and stuff floor. It's really shitty stuff, and I've gone ahead and I've removed a couple of the artificial subfloor. This is the real subfloor, but it's in pretty bad shape, as you can see. So I'm taking all of this out, and I'll be putting in a brand new subfloor over top of the insulation. But one of the things I noticed that inspired me to do this right now, because I don't know if you can tell, it's a little blue in here, the tarp's still on, but right here where I had dug out a bit, it was soaking wet. Everything else in here is dry now. Like, tarp's on, it hasn't rained today. Everything over here is dry. But this one spot was just soaking wet. And a little bit wet behind here. But there's nothing like leading to that. Like, it's not dripping wet here, it's not wet over here, it's not wet in the cabinet, it's not wet in the ceiling, it's just wet in the floor. So I'm really not sure where this is coming from, so that's why I'm inspired to rip this out, so I can really see how much of this is wet and then try and locate it from there. Maybe like somehow water is getting in from underneath, but like, let's be honest, how would that even happen? Unless there's something I don't know about physics, I don't know how that would work. So I'm trying to figure this out, but I'm gonna try and get this one piece out, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so it's really bad. I was expecting it to be bad, but this is really bad. They just had these like little thin boards to like level out the floor. There's a bunch over there too. In terms of the water, I honestly do think it's coming from underneath, because take a look at this. There's just this one wet spot, and when I pressed on the floor, like, there's a hole through the floor and through the insulation, I'm assuming, and water is getting in. I'm not 100% sure how it's happening yet. I'm gonna figure it out, obviously, like always. Yeah, they put a lot of holes in the floor with those screws. So I hope you guys are ready for another big project, because we've been tackling the very top, the roof. Now we're tackling the very bottom. There will definitely be quite a lot of content about this, but yeah. So the water basically started right here in this corner by the fridge. It's literally the whole fridge area, so it's possible water had come down some way and like dripped down here, but nothing else was wet. So That's what I'm really confused about. But I'm just gonna get it cleaned up a little bit more, and then we'll see what we can do. So this is where we're at right now. We've got this still in. This subfloor piece is in. This is all out here. And then we've got this in up until the front. In total, this measures out to be an inch. So alright guys, we got that false subfloor out. This is the original. So what it looks like without it. And this is what we've got underneath. It's just that metal sheeting underneath, and then there's a bit of a gap under the insulation, so it makes no sense for it not to be fully touching everything. So it's no wonder that there were soft spots. What I'm planning to do is cut all of this out, insulation included, and then do a spray foam insulation all the way down to that metal so that it's nice and strong, and then put a thinner ply subfloor on, and then put my flooring over top of that. So I'm gonna bring the insulation level to this, because this, everything that's white is staying in, and I'm gonna bring the insulation level to that, and then put probably a 1/2 or 1/4 inch subfloor on top of that. It'll all be level with these support beams, and we'll have a nice strong floor. Alright, so now we're moving on to removing the insulation. I'm basically just cutting it along the seams. This guy here, big tooth saw, pretty skinny, gets in there nice and clean edges. And essentially what I've found so far is everywhere other than over there is relatively sturdy. And then over here, it's like a sinkhole, as well as there. Here, super hard. Here, it's like nothing. You can hear it. Versus here, it starts right there, it comes over to about there, and then it comes back probably about, it's a big square essentially right here. That's pretty soft, so I'm gonna keep taking out the insulation, and I'm gonna go underneath. I'm gonna check, push up on the underbelly, see where the soft spots are, and see if there's anything I can do about that from underneath as well, and reinforcing it with some steel or something of the sort. But the reason why I wanted to use spray foam is because I'll be able to spray it thick enough that I can then shave it down and it'll be level, instead of there being all these swoops and stuff, and it'll give it a little more stability. I'm also thinking now maybe if I can't do anything from the bottom, I could put a steel bar across on the inside, spray foam over that. That'll give it some structural integrity as well. It'll have a couple hard points. That's kind of soft too. Yeah, I don't know. It's just an idea. It'll give it some tensile strength at the very least, but we'll see what happens. We're gonna keep getting this out, and then we'll take a look underneath. Alright guys, we've made some progress. We've got the front area out for the most part. This strip is still in, and this piece by the dinette is still in. We got this out. got this out here. So it's from the bathroom. It's basically the bathroom hall. Bathroom, bedroom hall. Here. In front of the closet here. This piece. I'm gonna cut this out as a square. Remove that, and then we'll remove this as a piece. As best as we can. It's gonna come out in like a billion pieces, obviously, but that's what we got so far. Alright, we are almost done. Got this board in so I can walk in here normally. We've got all this out successfully. The whole front hallway and in front of the fridge and the closets is done. The only part we have left is the bedroom slash bathroom hallway. This tiny little piece. So I made my cuts, or somewhat of a cut. The angle grinder along the edges. And I'm probably gonna have to go back over it with the handsaw. And then we just lift it out from there. Clean up the edges, make sure everything's good. And then we can get the spray foam in here. So the removal of the subfloor and the flooring insulation is almost complete. This is the second day I've worked on it. So it'll be 3 days removal and cleanup. And then I have to prep everything for the spray foam. I have to shield everything off with plastic or something of the sort. Tape everything off so nothing gets ruined with overspray. All my nice paint. If you're asking yourself, why did you paint before you did this? The answer is I wasn't planning on having to redo the insulation. I was just going to do the wooden subfloor, but turned out that in some areas like here, pretty much just here, the subfloor was rotted and the insulation was ruined. So I couldn't just cut out some parts and redo the insulation there and then just do the subfloor over top of that. I didn't think it'd turn out well. I didn't think it would be level. And if you're gonna do something, do it right. So this is what we're doing. Hopefully sometime, maybe tomorrow after work or whatnot, we can get that out, get this cleaned up. I also want to run a support beam here to here, one here, and then also I'd like to put one over in here if possible. Maybe run it from this corner up until wherever there's another one of those that meets there, so we'll have to see where that's at. But I'm gonna need 8 feet here and then probably 6 feet there, and I also need another one for here, so it's like we're gonna need a few steel beams. And yeah, I'll check in with you guys when we resume. Alright guys, we are done removing the insulation underneath the subfloor. We've got everything out, all the edges are cut nice and sharp for the new subfloor to butt up against it properly. The front is out, dinette is out, kitchen out, fridge and closet area is out, and the bedroom and bathroom area is out. Got the edges tidy. And flush with the wall. Had to use the angle grinder along most of the edges, especially here. There was a metal strip, thin metal strip that needed to be cut, as well as a bit over there. So that's out now. We move on to getting the spray foam in, level with the frame. But before that, I'm going to have to tape everything off, plastic wrap everything basically. I'm going to be adding new supports in the floor. I'm going to be adding one here this way, one in here, and one here. Essentially how it's going to work is right here until there's one square-ish piece, right? And that bar will be running across there, so it has a support in the middle because there's nothing over there that it'll be supported by other than just resting on the insulation and being on a corner there. So there will be a bar here, a bar here running this way, so it'll have support there. And then from here, let's start here actually. And here, obviously there's one square there. There's already a support. It should be fine with just having the one bar here because there is a frame right here. So it should be able to handle most of that weight. There's not really going to be much standing there. This is a sitting area, the table goes there, that's about it. And when it's a bed, you know, that's blocked off anyway, so I'm not really too concerned about that. It's not a high traffic area. But here, there's absolutely nothing in this entire piece, so having one here is going to be crucial. So there's that piece, this square here, and then from the edge of the dinette to the edge of the counter, we're going to run one all the way across, and there will be this beam here for it to start on, then this one, then there will be one here for that, so that will handle all of the weight here when you're standing on the floor. Then it will come here, and I'm just gonna bring it straight across to here. It will end there, and then we'll have our next piece come here. There's a frame here, so that's what it will use most of the weight for on this side. And then here it's the same there, so I may or may not have to put anything here, but just to be safe I probably will, but we'll see. It'll be here up until this point, and then I'm going to put a rectangle in that way for them to meet just behind this wall, and then obviously there will be one piece there and then a smaller piece there. Pretty straightforward. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces. 2 really small ones, the rest are pretty big. That's the plan for laying down the floor. Once the frames are in, I'm obviously going to be spraying these off with rust primer basically, just to prevent any further corrosion. The new ones will be painted as well. That's before the spray foam goes in. The spray foam goes on. I level it out to this height of the frame, which is 1.5 inches tall. And then I'm going to use most likely a 3/4 ply, something like this, or if I can find something lighter that's just as strong, maybe a plastic based item so there's no rot ever that could occur. We might go down that route if possible. And the reason I'm doing 3/4 is because it was 1.5 inches foam to be level with the bars, the frame, but in some areas it'll have to be 2 inches because of the sag, so that's why I'm doing spray foam, so that I get an even level surface to start with, because I can just shave it to whatever level I need it to be at. And once it's shaved, leveled off, it's going to meet just, it should meet just where like the old foam ends and where the old subfloor starts. And the old subfloor is 1/2 inch. You can see it there. It's 1/2 inch, and then on top of that they had another 1/2 inch flooring material that you saw earlier in the video, which was just really bad cuts of old wood. So the wood flooring was 1 inch thick with 1.5 inch thick insulation, and then on top of that was the flooring, right? So if I do 3/4, I'm still 1/4 inch shorter than previously, and so it should be lighter. regardless of what I do. And it'll give me an extra 1/4 inch of headroom, and that allows me to put my underlayment and my new flooring on, which is 5 mil with a pad, so probably about 6-7 mil with the underlayment. It'll bring me somewhat back to the original height, but it'll still be a little bit lower, but it'll be much stronger, airtight, watertight, insect proof essentially. Rodents don't chew through spray foam either, so there's that. And I'll be able to bury these cords under, and I'm also going to have them do the bathroom, get that taken care of as well, and I can shave that down. Once that is all finished with the new subfloor on, I'll be putting the new flooring on, but that'll be pretty much the last thing I do in here, just so it doesn't get ruined by anything, paint, something dropping on it, whatever, because I'm gonna have to repaint a bunch of stuff because of nicks and whatever, getting the old flooring out. I'm sure a few more will occur with putting new stuff in and what have you, and I'll give it a good clean down and repaint at the very end of everything. I hope you appreciated all the labor that went into getting this out. It was, I wouldn't say it was as grueling as getting the old roofing off, but it was definitely one of the harder labor projects that I've done so far. 2 back-to-back, good way to start off the season. We're just now about to get into May, so we've already got a lot done in a short amount of time. It's only been about 2 weeks since I've started back this season, so I hope you enjoyed. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. It was a few days in the making, dealing with some crazy weather and all that stuff, but we're almost through the thick of it. If this inspired you to cut out your RV floor and insulation and remove all that crappy, low quality stuff, it'd be nice, I guess. Definitely let me know if you're going to do something similar in your RV that you're currently living in, or in a project that you're working on. As always guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a blast making it. It was a lot of tiring work, it makes your back sore, but it's definitely worth it, and I'm really excited to see what comes in the next couple videos that I can put out for you guys. So definitely stay tuned. As always, remember to keep love in your heart, and if you enjoyed this video, definitely share it with some people that you think it might inspire them to do something similar. That's why I make these videos. I want people to, you know, if they have that desire somewhere deep in their heart, I want to spark that and set it ablaze and have people starting awesome, cool projects all over the world. And I just enjoy sharing it with you guys, so definitely consider sharing, subscribing, like the video if you thought it was helpful, and I will see you next time. Peace, man.